Do you remember the copper golem from the mob vote from last year and how it lost to the Pedophile Alley? Which I guess is a fine enough mob, but come on, Golem Man pressing buttons. Who wouldn't have liked that? Well, today I've got the origin for you, coming from the Golemancy Origin Data Pack collection created by the user known as Luna.exe, a construction golem capable of exploiting the properties of copper. This is a 2-impact origin, meaning it's about the middle ground of everything, art or tech. Because of your familiarity with copper as a material, you can use it to craft certain blocks more easily. One of the beautiful things about Origin mod that's been added as of recently are these little badges here, and the creator of this mod is a godsend with adding in every single recipe that you can use. Practically speaking, in any form of block such as the hopper, the piston, lanterns, soul lanterns, tripwires, redstone lamps can actually be used with copper instead of the usual iron that you may be using in a majority of those recipes. For the lanterns you use iron ingots, so that one's a little bit more of an expensive recipe when you use copper, but it does save you from using your typical iron that you'd use. Let's grab some copper and let's create ourselves a hopper here. We put our crafting table down and we can do this. Get a chest, copper, and then we can make ourselves some hoppers using our copper supplies. It pretty much means it makes copper so much more useful. It becomes the equivalent of iron because you can use it to create a lot of the things that can only be created by iron, such as, well, these hoppers here, as well as many other different redstone bits and pieces. Metalworker, along with a handful of useful tools and armor. Furthermore, along that original ability, we've also got a few more things you can craft as the copper golem. You've got the ability to craft a sword with a weirdly shaped recipe, the iron pickaxe, an iron shovel, an iron axe with another weirdly shaped recipe, and a shield, as well as a bucket, shears, practically speaking, allowing you to use copper to craft your own set of tools that are typically only be able to be crafted via iron. Now, one thing I do want to talk about here quite briefly, this kinda does mess with the balance of the game just a teensy bit. Mainly because copper's kind of a little bit more common in comparison to iron, but in most circumstances, you come across copper right around the same time you do come across iron. There will be some special occasions where there's copper directly on the surface. As I told you before, you don't craft these tools the usual way. Actually, you can craft them the normal way. For some reason, it's showing the shape for, let's say, an iron sword to be that, which doesn't work. What? I don't know. The images there are pretty wacky, but you just can craft the tools the same way you would normally craft them. Antioxidant. Honeycombs allow you to wax yourself, staving off the effects of oxidation for several minutes. So that will be something we'll go over a little bit later. I'm going to assume that our little orange bar just above our hotbar here is our oxidation meter. Grabbing ourselves some honeycomb and eating it, which you have to be in survival mode in order to do this. As you can see, when we do consume a honeycomb using our primary ability, you can see a new yellow bar appear on top of your orange-ish bar that's above your hunger bar. And from what I can tell here, the orange bar seems to have stopped moving as much as it was before. Lightning Rod. While in thunderstorms, you're much more likely to get struck by lightning. You are immune to lightning and you will deoxidize when struck. So when in a thunderstorm, which let's summon one now. So we just summon a lightning bolt on ourselves. Now I'm going to talk over myself here, mainly because I believe that the lightning bolts that you can summon yourself don't actually trigger any of the abilities to do with this origin. It may only actually function with legitimate lightning bolts that come from thunderstorms. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage of that happening, so you're just going to have to take my word with the abilities probably works. Oh, it does kill us. A synthetic stomach. You need less food and you cannot starve to death. This will probably be the most helpful thing to your hardcore players, as you cannot physically starve to death whatsoever. So giving myself the hunger effect at the stage of 50, actually that doesn't do anything by the looks of things. No, it does. As you see, our hunger bar is going to go down rapidly. We can now no longer sprint, we keep moving around, and now we're down to no hunger. As you can see, it's not just we can't completely die from starvation. No. You physically will not take any damage whilst you're starving. This can be useful in some cases, but at the end of the day, I don't know what person would want to put their hunger down to practically nothing, considering sprinting is super duper useful, especially when you're moving around the world. But hey, if you ever get to that point, you do have the ability just to outlive your own hunger problems. Oxidization. Because of the material of your body oxidizes very slowly over time. Oxidation can be removed with an axe. Now, one thing I can gather is that the oxidation bar does go up extraordinarily slowly, so it's not going to be a problem you're going to have to worry too much about as long as you pay attention. But it can definitely sneak up on you if you don't pay any attention to it, because it goes slow enough that it's very easy to forget about this mechanic by the looks of things. Because it's a slow moving mechanic, it's going to be far easier to forget about the fact that that mechanic even exists. You hold your sneak button and you right click, you get rid of a little tiny bit of oxidization. It requires a few different hits in order to do it. That was about 40-ish durability off of my axe to take out half a chunk of the bar. Heavy metal. You don't need to breathe underwater, but you're too heavy to swim and you sink to the bottom. Now this one's just pretty much self-explanatory. You're meant to be copper, so therefore you fall straight to the bottom of the ocean. But in turn, you also don't need to worry about breathing, so it's not really going to cause you too much of a problem. Copper core. Your body cannot be naturally or magically mended. You can heal your wounds by consuming copper ingots. This is where I feel like this origin kind of tries to self-balance it out. So copper is going to be extraordinarily more useful in creating multiple different builds, but at the same time, it is also the only thing you can use in order to actually exist. Which you can activate this ability by pressing your G, which is your primary ability, same as what you would use for your honeycomb, whilst in your main bar, and you put it on. And now that little bar there, I'm going to believe is a cooldown, maybe a defensive mechanism, because so that is a cooldown, and you can heal roughly 3 hearts with a piece of copper, but you have a cooldown of about a few seconds before you can do another healing thing. 2.5 hearts. Wow. That can definitely be perceived as problematic. It's going to be very useful to have copper. As I've already stated, you can get iron tools easier and all that, but this is kind of one of those things that seems like it's specifically made to attempt to balance the use of copper. Melting point. You take double damage from fire. This is self-explanatory. Fire ain't going to be nice to you now. Getting a lava bucket, for example, placing it down on top of water, which is on top of ice, is a brilliant plan. Effectively, you touch lava and you don't get in the water immediately after you touch that lava, you will die. Now, let's take ourselves over to the warden. But before we do that, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. There's a lot of you guys, new people about, which is pretty cool to say the least. So, to the warden. That's 1. That's 3. And that's number 4. Our buddy is here. And we can't exactly move anywhere. We're a bit... Oh, he knows we're here. He knows it. There's literally just a block there. He's about to... Oh my god, it's hilarious. There we are. Ow! Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no, he's faster. He's faster! Oh, boy. He's faster. Good to know.